back to the Gooner Vibe podcast, where fans get a voice. And we're starting this new, especially stateside. So super excited to have you back, Arun. And today, actually, I'll wear your hat and I'll be the host, and you can go on and give in your thoughts. First of all, like congratulations to Arsenal, first game of the season. We start off with a win, and we've broken this down into 5 segments. And I'll like go into the first segment, which is the team that Arteta has picked. So, what are your thoughts and your comments about what the first team 11 is, the formation, etc.
Yeah, it was really interesting actually. I didn't expect Gabriel not to be involved in the team sheet. He was in the bench. I was actually surprised that he had Thomas Partey on the right back because he did try that formation at the end of the last season, but he didn't try it in the preseason games at all. So it was
Right.
interesting to have Partey on the right back position. Everyone's shifted to the left. So even Saliba, it was a new position for him. White had not played on that center back position. I think he played once in the preseason, so that was interesting. And also having Nketiah back. I think Nketiah had played a couple of games in preseason, and having all three big signings starting was interesting. So overall, I like the way Arteta tweaked things and kept the opposition guessing. I hope that's the case going
Yep.
forward.
Yep. No, that's a great observation. I actually had similar thoughts. He kind of played like a 3-1-6 formation.
Mm.
And again, we have so many right backs, and it was a little surprising that he slotted in Partey there. And then, of course, as you exactly pointed out, Gabriel was missing. We got some indication that he was injured pre-game, but then Arteta said it was more tactical. So probably he's trying to keep the opposition guessing. So yeah, great feedback on that. So let's move on to the second segment, which is your thoughts on the first half. Like, what did you think? I know we've got both the goals in the first half. So what were your thoughts? And defensively, we had a few errors. I mean, like they could have scored actually. They could have gone 1-0. So your thoughts on our first half performance, as well as like sometimes like those leaky defenses that
Yeah,
we saw flashes.
yeah.
Yeah.
First half, I think it was really good. Even though they did have a chance, I believe it is kind of like those fluke chances that
Yeah.
you cannot really blame the defense, or you cannot even blame the goalkeeper with what happened. Yeah, I think Saliba was, or maybe Timber was blocked by one of their attackers, and
Right.
Saliba could have been a little closer to, I forget the name of their striker, but
Johnson,
regardless,
I think it was Johnson
Johnson. Okay,
in that situation. Yeah.
right. But regardless, I don't think that was a major leak as far as defense is concerned. There was some instances where I felt there was some cohesion which was lacking, and that was probably because of the fact that Party was going in,
Yeah.
inverting in, just like Shevchenko used to, inverting in from left back. So that was probably new for this formation, and getting that gelled in took some time. But otherwise, attacking wise, I saw some fluidity. Of course,
Right.
Saka was really good. Um, I think the overlap with Ben White, the triangles between them and Odegaard was really good. Rice was getting in a lot, and also Havertz was there. I know there was. It seems like he wasn't there, like playing
Right.
as much. Like he was more in the periphery, but he was involved in a lot of good decision making. Even on the left hand side with Gabriel Martinelli, he was really
Yep.
good. I think both our wingers overall were really good, and they pretty much created the goal. Like Gabriel's back heel got the goal,
Yep.
ball to Nketiah, and Nketiah just slotted in the net. And Saka's goal was really beautiful. It was like that interchange again between Odegaard and Ben White, Saka getting and then shooting from outside. That was. I hope he scores a lot more like that through
Yeah.
the season. But yeah, I think our wingers were really good. attacking wise, there is some fluidity that we need, but I think they will get there.
Right. Saka's goal kind of reminded me of the same goal last year with the United game.
Yeah.
Same area.
Mhm.
That was a great goal. So yesterday, yeah, it was a very picturesque goal, the second one. But again, 2-0 leads are always like a little of a scare, kind of like now going into the third segment of our podcast, which is your thoughts on the second half.
Mm.
Uh, and like kind of like the 2-0, we kind of like didn't go beyond 2-0 in the first half. We kind of like stepped off. So what do you think, like, what could we have done better in the second half? And of course, we considered the goal and how we had those nervy moments. So what are your thoughts on that second half?
Well, looking back, of course, if he could have created more chances, made more, like if you see the first half, he had like about 85% of position. Um, at one point, it was close to 90. So,
Wow.
if and as soon as the second half started, you could see that there was a little bit of like, um, what was the word that Wenger used to say? Handbrake off, handbrake
Handbrake, yeah.
on in this case. So
Handbrake on, yeah.
so we were playing a little slower. We were a little gradual in our approach. We didn't attack their wing backs a lot more than we did in the first half. I think if you saw the between the two halves, Rice was more further advanced than he was in the second half. So there was little less cushion for our fullback. So
Yeah.
uh, when Partey was drifting in, there was no one there on the right, and then on the left, usually Rice would be there, but Rice was advanced. So there was definitely a big hole, I felt, and we were not putting too much pressure on Nottingham Forest, anyways. The good thing about I feel that was a strategical decision by Arteta because he wanted Rice to be more advanced, be more box
Advanced.
to box, and you saw
Right.
him actually strike a couple of goals, which was actually saved by Turner, which was really good saves. So I think that was strategy by Arteta to keep them more pinned in, but we left a little bit vacant in the back, especially with after Timber got injured.
Right.
Tomiyasu is not as quick as Timber. I felt that was one of the reasons why we didn't feel like it was the right way or right approach. We should have been a little bit more circumspect of their um, what was that Elanga who actually
Yeah,
got
Elanga,
in,
yeah.
and yeah, so
United, the ex-United, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they should have been a little circumspect when there is space on their flanks. So I think Arsenal would be definitely will be learning a lot more from what they did from the second half. I didn't get the feeling that we'll leak another goal, although, but
Right.
looking back from last season, how many draws we had from winning position, it's always a scare. So
Right. Right.
yeah, yeah, definitely we should improve. We shouldn't be giving easy goals like that. I feel.
Right. Especially when you're 2-1 with 10 minutes to go, you never know. One mistake could lead to a penalty, and then we could end up, losing 2 points.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's a great way to assess the second half. So like moving on to the result. So of course we comfortably at least crossed the line, got the 3 points. What are your thoughts going into the next game? 3 points is 3 points in the end.
Mm.
So how do you think we should approach the next game against Palace at Sellers Park, who also got a win, 1-0 away win,
Mhm.
beginning like with a victory themselves. So, what do you think of the next game at Sellers Park as a preview?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Obviously, I think Edward scored for them.
Yeah.
Zaha leaving Palace will be a big hole there, and I think Olise or someone from one of their forwards is being quoted to move to Chelsea. I don't know who's
Okay.
that forward. So Eze or Elise, I think one of them
One of them.
has been quoted by Chelsea apparently. If they get weakened and they don't get another player in, I think it's going to be tough for Palace. Obviously, Everton is not. I think Everton is going to be one of those candidates for relegation again,
Again.
unfortunately.
Okay.
the way they played against Palace, I felt it's not going to be easy for
Sustainable,
them
I
again.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
definitely, we need to improve. Palace away has never been a easy game for Arsenal. It's
Right.
usually been a bogey team. Last year was one off, I guess, because it was our first game. We played
Yeah.
really well, and it was a new formation, so probably caught them unaware. So we did well in our home fixture with Crystal Palace as well. But we need to be on our toes. I think Palace defense is really good. With
Right.
Hodgson now over there, they will be very well structured. Um, Arsenal needs to get started pretty quickly. I think I will say we will see pretty much the same team, except maybe Trossard for Havertz. Not
Mm.
because Havertz was bad or anything, but I think Arteta will play a new trick up his sleeve. And
Okay.
I do feel like we will go back to Gabriel in the back. Most likely, I might see Zinchenko back on the side. I think he
Okay.
has come back in training, which means that Partey will come back in middle. Ben White will go in the right back. So it's going to be our
That'll be
traditional
the
back four.
traditional formation. Okay.
Yeah, but Rice and Partey being the two center mids, and I feel we should have Trossard in the middle instead of
Middle. Yeah,
Havertz.
that's a great point. And yeah, like to your question, what are your thoughts on the injury to Timber, which kind of affects our formation again? And any thoughts around why didn't Arteta bring in Tierney, who's a traditional left back, and he basically slotted Tomiyasu, who's a right back, into that position after his injury. Like, do you have any thoughts on both of them? Like, first, Timber's injury. Do you think like it's a long-term injury, or do you? Because I heard rumors that he left Emirates in crutches. So
Mm.
I, fingers crossed. I hope it's not a serious injury, which is again going to alter Arteta's formation.
Yeah, it's always uh, tough to analyze injuries when, especially with this kind of injury where there was no one near him when he dropped on the
Okay.
floor in the second half. So it seems like it's a muscular injury, and he
Okay.
seemed to even uh, hold the right side of his knee. It could
Okay.
be ligament or it could be muscular. If it
Muscular.
is just a knock, and if it is muscular, I think he might be back sooner. But if
Okay.
it is the ligament, obviously in the knee, it can be a long-term injury.
Right.
For us, for Arsenal fans, I always hope that none of our players get injured, especially early
Long term.
on the
Yeah.
season when you want those players to be, especially the new signings, to
Right.
bed in with the team, be close to the team, play as many minutes as possible. With regards to the second question, I believe you wanted to know how this is going to affect or how Tomiyasu's. Uh,
Yeah, like we have yeah, like Tomiyasu and Ben White, we have availability on the right side. But then as you saw, like he put Partey there
Mhm.
and then he moved Ben White to the center. And when Tomiyasu came in, he came in left back, whereas we actually had Tierney, who's a traditional left back on the bench.
Actually, Tierney was not in the bench, so
Oh,
that's
so he didn't. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Kivior was the other option. I would have
Kivior, yeah,
probably gone with Kivior if, but I think Arteta didn't want to risk both fullbacks inverting because Kivior also inverts like
inwards, yeah.
Zinchenko does, and if he and Partey inverts, it would be a little
Then
bit
we have
more
no one at the back.
right. So I think that's why he wanted to go with Tomiyasu.
Okay,
Tomiyasu is still coming back from his injury. It was a long-term injury last year. I think he injured the same game as Saliba. So uh,
right.
getting him some minutes, I think, was important.
Okay,
Obviously, he was not as much affected by that than on the right-hand side when Elanga came because he was more prone to go into the left-hand side of Arsenal's defense, which is directly impacting either Partey or Ben White. But I think overall, mm, and I also feel like Tierney might leave the club if he's not going to
okay.
get
Um,
minutes, even when someone like Timber is going to get injured or
right.
Tomiyasu is there. is like maybe in a couple of weeks we'll see Zinchenko back. So if you see in the pecking order, it would be Zinchenko, Kivior,
Tierney.
Tier,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ivan
Zinchenko,
Timber.
Kivior, Timber, and then it's Tierney. Basically, he doesn't
Or
have.
even before Tierney, it would be Tomiyasu. So he's
Correct.
way down in the pecking order. And
Right.
even though we have so many games plus Champions League, I don't see how Tierney will come back in the squad. Although he brings a little bit different to other
Yeah.
players in the squad. I'll definitely be sad if Tierney goes, but I'm hoping that if he goes, we will be able to get some good money back.
Right. Right. Awesome. Awesome. So thank you so much, Arun. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. That was the last segment of today's episode. Thanks to all the subscribers, listeners, and viewers. We will be back for the next game, for the Palace game, and potentially we'll start seeing new Arsenal fans as well, interchangeably coming and sharing their thoughts on this show. So stay tuned, and we will catch back in a week. So thank you so much.